Growers are required to perform an annual inspection of the water that is used on their farms. This annual inspection includes 3 distinct parts: the source inspection, an environmental assessment, and the inspection of the distribution system. The FSMA Produce Safety Rule, or PSR, requires an annual inspection. However, it does not specify how it must be completed. The methods and documents developed for this training video will guide you and will help you document your inspection. Use the forms to record your observations and actions. Check off the critical areas as they are inspected. All annual inspection documentation should be organized and kept with important farm records. Remember, the purpose of the annual inspection is to uncover problems that may impact your water supply, so that you can fix them before contamination occurs. The annual inspection is the first step towards safe and high-quality produce. The rule states that produce farmers must complete a source inspection at the beginning of the growing season. During this inspection, growers must 1. Identify their source of irrigation water, and 2. Look for any potential hazards or sources of contamination. The PSR states that the growers should have an understanding of potential risks associated with their water supplies. Growers must check their water source for problems that could lead to microbial contamination, such as debris, garbage, and animal intrusion. If the source is a surface water canal, pond, or reservoir, start by recording how it is constructed. Is it earthen, concrete, or lined with fabric? Next, check the intake condition. Note any obstructions or anything that needs to be fixed. When repairs are made, note that on the form as well. The water itself should be inspected. Note the turbidity or cloudiness and the presence of algae or plants growing near the intake. If the water source is a pond or reservoir, has it been treated with chemicals? And if so, what has been added? Check the pumps and all other mechanical devices that control the flow of water in and out of the reservoir to make sure they are in proper working order. When the source is a well that has been properly constructed, the inspection is pretty simple. Just ensure that the wellhead is in good condition and not cracked or leaking. Any problem should be noted and corrected as soon as possible. Collecting water samples to determine the water quality is also required. Samples should be collected close to harvest time. Surface water requires more samples than groundwater. Please check regulations for current requirements. Select and document a sample location as close to the source as possible. When surface water is being delivered in a canal system, this is near the turnout or the pump. When surface water is held in a reservoir or pond, this is near the outflow pipe. When groundwater is being delivered through a well, it should be collected near the wellhead pump at a convenient spigot or valve. Remember to record all source inspection observations. An environmental assessment involves checking the areas around the water source and taking note of any potential hazards. According to the rule, growers must be aware of sources of bacteria or hazardous conditions on their property and on adjacent and nearby land. Are there livestock operations nearby? Is there a wastewater treatment facility upstream from your property? Operations like these can be a source of pathogens. And though you cannot control what your neighbors are doing, it is important that you document any activities near your water source that could potentially lead to a problem. To gather this information, you may need to look at public records or even check out an aerial image of your property and the surrounding land. Talk to your neighbors and find out what activities are happening nearby. Check about a 1/4 mile upstream in a canal system and about 100 yards surrounding a pond or reservoir. It is important to note potential hazards, even those that are outside of your control, like a nearby animal operation or a septic leach field. Document evidence of wildlife or domestic animals in or near the water. Note upstream bridges or trees that overhang the water where animals might dwell. For instance, if there are birds nesting under a bridge, their droppings may be a source of contamination in the canal water. It's a good idea to note the condition of the canal or reservoir. Are the sides slumping into the water? Is there maintenance that is required? Again, Make note of all of this in your documentation of your environmental assessment. The distribution system inspection takes place on your property and starts at the point where the water comes under your control. That may be where water flows from a canal into a pipe system onto the property, or where the well water flows in to fill up a reservoir. Even though each farm system is unique, there should be documentation of several common, important elements. Check and document that all pipes, drip tape, lay-flat hoses, and sprinkler heads are all in good working order without cracks or leaks, where pathogens can contaminate the system. Leaks can also result in pools of standing water, another potential source of contamination. Make note of any problems like this, and also note what actions were taken to correct them. Be sure to inspect the equipment that is not currently in use. Is it stored off the ground? Is there evidence of animals living in or around it? Document all observations and the corrective actions taken to fix any potential problems. Any piped system should have the proper backflow prevention devices installed at critical junctures. These prevent contamination of the system, or worse, the water source. Make sure that these are in proper working order. If not, document the problem and the actions taken to fix it. If proper backflow prevention devices are missing from the system entirely, you will need to document this and take immediate actions to correct this. There are many resources available to help you determine what devices are needed and where they should be installed in the water distribution system on your property. If flood or furrow irrigation is being used, make sure that the fields are well graded, again, to avoid unnecessary standing water where bacteria and other contaminants can live and grow. Don't forget to write down your observations on the distribution system in the form. And that's completing an annual inspection.